Welcome back to our channel Silence and Vocabulary. So today's words have been taken from the Indian Express of 9th March 2022 article, Last Major Indian Group Exits Ukrainian City Heading Home. So now as usual we are going to do and discuss the words as soon as they come across in the article, and we are also going with the explanation side by side. So, as we all know, that the situation between Russia and Ukraine is really volatile right now. So, the word that we spotted right now was volatile. Let's discuss this. The word is volatile and its part of speech is an adjective. Its spellings are Volatile. Its meaning is if something is volatile, anything can happen unexpectedly and suddenly, and you don't know about it. Its synonyms are unsteady, unstable, ups and downs, suddenly, unexpectedly. And its antonyms are steady, stable, and constant. The sentence is the situation between Russia and Ukraine is volatile. And the second sentence is there have been many fights before, but still the situation is volatile right now. So let's move on forward. After a harrowing 2 weeks, the Indian students who were stranded in the northeastern Ukrainian city of Sumy have finally moved towards Poltava. And for those who don't know what Poltava is, it is a central part of a country and is a safer city. And from there, all those Indians would be taken in trains towards the Ukraine's western border. So let's discuss the words which we spotted in this paragraph. So the first word we spotted was harrowing. Let's discuss it. The word is harrowing and its part of speech is also an adjective. Its spellings are Harrowing. Its meaning is if an experience is harrowing, it is upsetting and tiring. Its synonyms are upsetting, tiring, traumatic, painful, and its antonyms are peaceful and calm. Let's move on to its sentences. The sentence is, man, these 2 weeks have been really harrowing. You need to take rest. And the second sentence is, these past 2 months have been so harrowing. I need to go on a vacation right now. So let's move on to the second word we spotted was stranded. So stranded means that you are unable to leave a particular place because of some problems which are mainly that you don't have any money to go out of it and you're not having any transportation means. So you can go out of that particular place. And that was the situation with the Indian students who were stranded in the Ukrainian city. That they didn't have any choice left with them but to wait for the help and relief to come to them. Let's move on forward. The last big group of Indians is being evacuated from Ukraine and they would be flown home from one of the neighboring countries in the next couple of days. And finally, and hopefully, the last big group of Indians is being evacuated from Ukraine and they would be flown home to their country, India, in one of the neighboring countries in next of a couple days. Let's move forward. The government asked the stranded Indians in Ukraine to make a wise use of the humanitarian corridors as an announcement of any next such corridor or the humanitarian corridor is really unsure and uncertain. Let's discuss and understand this paragraph really carefully. So, the government is asking all the Indians who are stranded and left over in Ukraine without no help and they're really miserable that they should make a wise and intelligent use of the humanitarian corridors so that they can evacuate themselves and escape that place as soon as possible, because any further announcement that there would be any such establishment of a humanitarian corridor is really uncertain and unsure. So I have explained the word humanitarian corridor in the yesterday's video, so if you guys want you can check it out, but I will still explain it individually. So let's try to understand the meaning of the word humanitarian. It means something that is associated with the welfare of humans and is trying to help out living beings and human beings. And corridors are no lobbies which we see in our schools and halls, but they are safer and demilitarized places which are meant to help people and provide them with relief during these crises and war times. Let's move on forward. The evacuation from Sumy, which was announced by the Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, it was a really challenging and difficult task and exercise, he said. And we have also seen the volatile situation which is going out in the region near the Russian border. This paragraph means that the evacuation, which was planned for the Indian students from the place Sumi, was announced by the Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. And he also said that this task was really difficult and challenging, seeing the volatile situation in the region near the Russian border. Obviously, it is volatile and really unexpected because you don't know when the Russian troops start to attack and fire all the missiles all over, and once again, the Indian students would be stuck in there with no help. Let's move on forward. And this all came after a day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is basically the Prime Minister of India, spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and sought their support for a safer and a quicker evacuation of all the Indians from the place Sumi. So, this means to say that this evacuation was decided after a day when the Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to the Russian President Vladimir Putin and also discussed this issue with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and sought, and here I will take a break to give you a really brief explanation of the word sought. It is no other word, but it is the past tense of the word see, which means an attempt to find something. So here it means and makes sense that these all prime ministers and the presidents were trying to seek and were finding some support for a safer and a quicker evacuation of all the Indians from Sumi as soon as possible. So far, 83 flights have brought back over 17,000 Indians, and that is really good and happy. In New Delhi, Puri said, here the Puri I am referring to is the Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. He said that the Indian students stuck in Sumi and the evacuation had begun, but last night when he checked with the control rooms, 694 Indian students were remaining in Sumi. And today, hopefully, they all have left in buses for Poltava, he said. Arindam Bakchi, who is a spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs, said that we are really happy to inform you that we have been able to move all the students and the Indian students out of Sumi with really safely, and they are currently moving towards Poltava, and their route is also towards Poltava. And from there, they are going to board the trains which will go to Western Europe. No, they will go to Western Ukraine. I'm sorry for that. Flights under the Operation Ganga are being prepared to bring them home back in India. And for those who don't know what Operation Ganga is, it is basically an initiative and operation which was proposed by the government of India to get all the Indian students evacuated from Ukraine. The Indian embassy in Ukraine posted a message on Twitter that the humanitarian corridor for the evacuation of the stranded people have been announced in the various parts of Ukraine, but still, any such establishment of that there would be any next humanitarian corridor is really uncertain and unsure, or might be even impossible. The last paragraph. All the stranded Indian nationals are urged to make a wise and intelligent use of these operations and vehicles or any other available means of transport to move out of these cities and towns for their own safety purposes. It means that all the Indian nationals are being urged. Here, the word urge means that they are pleading them and requesting them to make a really wise and intelligent use of all these vehicles. Transportation means to move out of the cities and places, towns, and vehicles as soon as possible for their own safety purposes. Thank you. And that's it for today. We will meet you tomorrow with a new article and words. Till then, goodbye.